Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you, talking all about good old Extreme Rules. STS Radio making a strong comeback tonight. We got a good little show coming up. Extreme Rules 2015 coming right up around the corner. It looks like this is packed full of about 8 matches. I will honestly say that I am coming off of the WrestleMania 31 hangover. I have no problem admitting this. Last night's Monday Night Raw, I found very weird. I mean, honestly, I watched a few videos today, watching other people's reactions to watching Monday Night Raw. Some people saying that it was a good show. Some people saying that it was one of the best Raws they've seen in the last 6 months. And I honestly am sitting here thinking, what were they watching that I was watching? I couldn't even make it through the show. And honestly, I know a lot of people who, hashtag boycott Raw. I know a lot of people who, have to have conversations during Monday Night Raw. I know people who will start to watch the show, change the channel, start watching something else, and change back sporadically until there's something to do it. But I don't think I've ever had a problem sitting down to watch Monday Night Raw from start to finish and being able to get through it. There's been times where I've got tired. There's been times when I've honestly thought that I could be doing anything else in the world right now, but I find myself getting to the main events. But as last night's show went on and on, definitely when they hit the end of the second hour, I was sitting there thinking, like, okay, we've seen Randy Orton hit an RKO on just about everyone on the roster. We've seen this, we've seen that. What else is there? I had forgot about the Miz versus Mizdow match. I was able to get myself through that match, and then once that was done, I honestly told myself, there's nothing left on this show for me. I don't know what happened in the last 45 minutes of Monday Night Raw, but I can guaranteeingly tell you that I wasn't there. I didn't see it. I closed my computer, I walked out into the living room, and I started watching other television, and I never looked back. Monday Night Raw, to me, just honestly didn't click with me. I know that when your biggest argument about WrestleMania 31, when you look at that card and you look at Extreme Rules, you don't have the star power that WrestleMania had. You look at this, there's no Sting, there's no Triple H, there's no Undertaker. Definitely they pulled those stars out on a, short appearance. Triple H, he might fight on a SummerSlam. Sting had his first WWE WrestleMania appearance. You also have Undertaker, who only fights once a year. Definitely that makes it a little bit more of a magical show. I will tell you that when you take the matches of Extreme Rules and you flutter them out and you put them match by match, there are matches that I do want to see. Will Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton be a good steel cage match for the World Heavyweight Championship? Yes, it should be a good main event. John Cena versus Rusev more than likely will be the blow-off match of that feud. Yes, that will be a good match. But then you look at this other stuff on there. Nikki Bella versus Naomi. I know there's Give Divas a Chance. There's no way in the world that match is going to be any good. Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus. Loser must kiss the other guy's ass. Not at all. Roman Reigns versus Big Show. Am I glad that fans are cheering Roman Reigns again? Yes. But Big Show, no. This was the guy that I think that Roman Reigns feuded with Big Show when he made his return to the WWE leading up into the Royal Rumble. I think that he fought him at Fastlane. They took the month off. I've seen Roman Reigns versus Big Show, it feels like 1,000 times. I don't need a blow-off match to get them to where they're going. I've heard rumors that Roman Reigns is going to be going after the World Heavyweight Championship at the next month's pay-per-view, at Payback 2015, but I just don't care about this match. And last but not least, the Chicago Street Fight between Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper. I have no idea why these guys are having a match. I know that they got into a scuffle. I know that there were 2 guys involved in the Intercontinental Championship ladder match at WrestleMania 31. I haven't seen anything leading to them being the number 1 contenders for the Intercontinental Championship after this match. So I have no idea why they're being paired together to have a match other than to eat up time on the WWE Network for Extreme Rules 2015. Now, I am going to be going through each one of these matches in this video, but I promise you that I will try my best to be a little bit more positive in these matches. Now, if you'll go along with the ride for me, we're going to strap it in. We're going to be talking all about Extreme Rules in the upcoming I can probably say I knocked this out in about an hour. So we'll sit back, we'll strap it on, and we'll see what's going down with Extreme Rules 2015. We'll pick some winners. We'll try and talk about where we think Extreme Rules 2015 is going, but it's going to be a good one. Peace out, everybody. Alright, everybody, the first match of the WWE Extreme Rules 2015 is going to take place on the kickoff party for Extreme Rules, brought to you by Mountain Dew Kickstart, everyone's favorite. It's going to be their WWE Tag Team Champions, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, going up against A New Day. A New Day, of course, is going to be the tag team of Kofi Kingston and Big E Langston, with Xavier Woods on the outside. This week on Monday Night Raw, we saw a new page turn for the New Day. Finally, the New Day has sort of, grabbed the roots. They're not what we thought this team was going to be back in the summer, when first Xavier Woods came running out there and cut the promo on Big E Langston and Kofi Kingston, looking like Malcolm X, and basically, saying a lot of things about, they make us look dumb, they make us look bad, we need to rise up, we need to be each other. And then for 2 months, the guys all sat on the sidelines. They fought on Main Event, they fought on Superstars, but very rarely did we see them on Monday Night Raw, very rarely did we see them on SmackDown. It was like WWE thought of this idea of putting these guys all together, and basically all of the fans jumped on board saying, oh, the new nation, they're bringing back the Nation of Domination with all these, these big black guys all in a big group. The first thing you think of is the Nation of Domination, because that's what we were raised on, is when, the WWE was going through gang wars, back in the day. Of course, you had the Bariquas, you had, the Nation of Domination, you had, DOA, the biker gang. Everyone had their own little clique, and some of the stables were really deep, and they had some star power. They had some guys that can go, and some guys had one guy and just a whole bunch of jobbers to fill out the group. I think I honestly would be very surprised if many people can name all of the members of the Bariquas, because I certainly can't. You get Savio Vega, and then it falls off from there. Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, honestly, when I thought they were paired together back at the Royal Rumble when they had their first tag team match going up against a New Day, I thought that they were just basically eating up time, that basically Cesaro was a guy that they had a bright future for. Tyson Kidd was definitely a guy that they were hoping to pan out to become a star after going down to NXT and having his good long little run, of course, with Tyler Breeze and Adrian Neville, Sami Zayn and all of them, of course, with the Final Four NXT special, as well as I think he had a one-on-one for the championship on one of the matches. But he was a good main player, putting NXT on the map, plus getting himself over in the long run. A lot of people saying that he actually had skills that were able to wrestle, people that had watched him for years on SmackDown and Monday Night Raw, just sort of scratching and fighting to get wins. It was sort of, WWE's developmental, actually reaching down and fixing somebody. I thought that when Tyson Kidd came up, he was a guy that was actually going to be going after, the United States Championship, Intercontinental Championship, hell, even the World Heavyweight Championship. But I thought that when he first came up, he had a match, I believe he lost to Jack Swagger, and he had a short little feud with him. That was mainly on television. I thought that maybe Tyson really wasn't going to be going anywhere, and maybe they weren't going to be able to fix him like I thought they were going to be able to. But, it looks like now Cesaro and Tyson Kidd really are some main players. They really do fit together really well as a good tag team. They're going to be having some troubles because they broke up a big part of the tag team division, of course, and then they're, I guess you would say, arch rivals, the Usos, due to an injury. They're going to be out for about 6 months. So maybe WWE is going to be having to really push the Dragons coming up from NXT and really find them some competition. Either that or pair up some guys that really don't have anything going on to try and, get this going until you can have the Usos come back. The New Day turning a new page, going in a new direction with their heel turn. Honestly, to me, this is like a fail-safe heel turn for these guys. This was the most babyface heel turn of all time. Xavier Woods hiding under the ring, much like Hornswoggle would, grabbing Hunico's legs. It might have been Sin Cara's, I apologize, but not letting him enter into the ring when he was trying to get in from the outside, getting the count out, leading to the New Day to get the victory. Honestly, to me, there's a lot of talk right now about Cesaro and Tyson Kidd working this match as the babyface team. They have Natalya on the outside. They're a team that a lot of people love. It wouldn't be hard for them to get that going. But to me, honestly, I don't think you want to disrupt what they have going. These guys need to be the heels. The New Day needed to sort of be the clowns in this match. Maybe you can sort of have them, portray some heelish things, and Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, you're able to sort of be affected by it, but then in the end, they're able to overcome this. I picked the New Day to win the championships at WrestleMania 31, but it didn't really work out. I don't really see them winning the belts at Extreme Rules. To me, honestly, I can see them losing this match and then maybe going to Monday Night Raw and then having a blow-off feud with the Dragons, where the Dragons get the win, and then the Dragons are going after the championships come Payback. This should be it should be a fun match. Of course, everybody will be sitting down, getting their nachos, getting their chips and drinks. Honestly, this match will be starting before I think I get off work, so this is a match that I might not even get to see, but hopefully it's good for you guys, and you guys are picking Cesaro and Tyson Kidd as well. In my mind, I believe the Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper at WWE Extreme Rules 2015, honestly, in my mind, is the match that does not have any appeal to me. I dedicate this as the #1 match that does not need to happen at Extreme Rules. Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper. I had to look it up on WWE.com to find the basis of why these guys are fighting in a Chicago street fight at Extreme Rules. This whole feud is built around the WrestleMania 31 ladder match, where Luke Harper powerbombed Dean Ambrose outside of the ring. The big spot that Ambrose took, where he got powerbombed outside of the ring and he landed what it looked to me like a whole bunch of guardrails on the outside. The spot that they really focused in on Ambrose, basically as the rest in peace spot, where basically we never saw Ambrose again throughout the rest of the match. There was some talk about Ambrose actually being injured, but then again he came out on the next night on Monday Night Raw, and it was off to the races. He had the good match against John Cena that night, and it was all forgotten. But the next, or I guess it was that same week, it just happened to be on SmackDown. Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper, they had a match where Luke Harper ended up throwing Dean Ambrose through the announce table, and that was the end of that. From there, Luke Harper would have a match on the following Raw, where it was a match that ended in disqualification against Ryback. Once the match was over, Dean Ambrose hit the ring, and we saw Harper and Ambrose get into a big blown-out brawl. Then comes the match on this week's Monday Night Raw. Before Extreme Rules, it's Ambrose versus Harper. Once again, these guys fought to a no contest, and WWE just stepped in and said, you know what, you guys have to work this out. We're going to have a match between you guys at Extreme Rules. It's going to be a Chicago street fight, and you guys are going to have to basically figure out your differences, find out who's the best guy. When it comes to a Chicago street fight, this match was built, honestly, I was about to say for Dean Ambrose, but honestly, I think this Chicago street fight was drawn up for the Road Warriors back in the NWA. But honestly, in my mind, Dean Ambrose, since the Shield is broken up and he's no longer wearing the Shield attire, now he comes out wearing, just basically jeans, boots, and a white wife beater. Dean Ambrose portrays, in my mind, just sort of a biker guy. A guy that can get off of his bike and get into a fight with honestly just about anybody. Luke Harper is a guy with the Wyatts that I thought was honestly a real true badass. A guy that looked like he was sort of hypnotized by the power of Bray Wyatt and just be able to act out any wish that he would have wanted. Since they have broken up, I have no idea why Luke Harper is still in this trance that he's been in, but definitely they think that his eyes are definitely one of his brightest features. It's what's put into his WWE Titantron when he comes walking out of the back. But Luke Harper is definitely a guy that can hold his own with any big fight. He's got the big boot. He's got the big, huge clothesline. He's had some good matches. Luke Harper versus Dolph Ziggler at the TLC pay-per-view kicked off the show in extreme fashions. It was honestly, in my mind, was one of the match of the night. So we all know that Luke Harper can deliver. Honestly, in my mind, I want to see Ambrose win this match. I know that Ambrose doesn't win a lot of matches on pay-per-view, but honestly, when it comes down to it, he's a guy who loves to fight, not to steal that from Finlay that much, but I can really see Ambrose beating Harper in this match. And from there, hopefully becoming the number one contender going after the Intercontinental Championship, whether if it's Daniel Bryan or whether if he's injured and they have to strip him and maybe it's Bad News Barrett. But Ambrose is a guy that looks like he's on the rise. I know that we've already seen Ambrose versus Barrett at the Fastlane pay-per-view, but Ambrose has that past storyline sort of feature to him that he wants to have his picture on the wall at the WWE Titan Towers of the hallway of Intercontinental Champions. He wants his legacy to continue forever, and this is one step toward to get there. I know that it's not a true all-out number one contenders match, but this was based out of the Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania 31, so I can see the winner of this moving towards that. But then again, there is Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus. Sheamus, of course, making his return at the Raw after WrestleMania, bro-kicking Daniel Bryan, and basically, delivering promos about Daniel Bryan, saying that he needs to get rid of all of these underdogs of a WWE, so maybe Sheamus is going to be stepping in, saying he's the number one contender. So we'll see what's going on with the IC belt. We'll talk about that in a little bit when we get to the Daniel Bryan versus Bad News Barrett video. Roman Reigns versus Big Show in a last man standing match at WWE Extreme Rules 2015. Roman Reigns has had the weirdest 2015 you can think of. He makes his big return at the Royal Rumble, winning it. Of course, his good buddy, The Rock, came to be with him to share in this family sort of moment. WWE knew that Roman Reigns was going to be getting a huge negative sort of backlash from winning the Royal Rumble, becoming the number one contender to go to WrestleMania 31. They brought The Rock in, and The Rock really wasn't able to sway any of the boo birds away. The people that came in thinking that they were going to boo Roman Reigns didn't care that The Rock was there, giving him one of the most negative appearances since his return coming back for WrestleMania 27, and Roman Reigns really didn't get any of the rub that they were really looking forward to him getting. He moves on to go to WrestleMania 31. He has a good match with Brock Lesnar, where he is taking the beating of a lifetime. He's taken to Suplex City. Brock is basically making Roman look like John Cena at last year's SummerSlam, where Cena just took the beating of his lifetime and just kept on asking for more. You could see Roman Reigns, even with a bloody smile, smiling at Roman as he was getting beat on. It was almost like he was asking, please, Brock Lesnar, can I please have another? WWE, basically, they found a way to break this sort of, fan respect that a lot of guys have. When guys are getting pushed up towards the top and fans sort of, turn negatively on there. I've heard it referred to as the Tommy Dreamer, push, where basically Dreamer was the pretty boy of ECW. The fans really didn't want to get behind Tommy because they just didn't like him. And then he lost the Singapore cane match to the Sandman, and the Sandman sat there and caned him. And as Tommy Dreamer was, dying basically right there into the ring, he kept getting himself back up, asking Sandman to hit him again because he lost the match and he needed to, basically live up to the stipulation that came along with that. And after that moment, Tommy Dreamer was never booed. Once again, I doubt throughout his whole career, Tommy was one of the most loved wrestlers. People really felt for this guy, seeing that he was going to give everything that he had to give to those fans because they bought a ticket. And that's basically what Roman Reigns is going through right now. Roman Reigns was beat up. He didn't achieve his goal of winning the championship at WrestleMania 31. And he never really sat there and cried about it. He had one sort of interview on SmackDown saying that he has to push himself harder to get back up to that main event, and that next time he's not going to basically have anything step in between him and his goal of becoming WWE champion and becoming face of the WWE. WWE was very smart to move in a different direction after WrestleMania 31. It sort of looked like Roman Reigns got slighted, that Roman Reigns got put into this match with the Big Show, and you can already start to see that the people that were booing Roman Reigns aren't booing him as loud as they once were. Roman Reigns is slowly starting to win over the crowds. I guess they are showing that they do respect Roman Reigns. They just didn't want him to become the face of the company without working hard to get it. They didn't want him handed the #1 spot on a silver platter. They wanted this man to, step up to the plate and honestly lose the big one before finally getting it. Even though you go back to Payback, he was involved in the Fatal 4-Way. You go back to the Money in the Bank. I believe there was 5 guys. That might have been 6 guys in that match along with him having a chance to win the championship. He came up short on both of those matches. And it looked like he was going to become #1 contender to go after the belt at SummerSlam. But him and Randy fighting made Triple H go to Brock Lesnar to become the #1 contender to go up against John Cena. But, now that Roman is no longer in the title hunt, you can definitely tell that he's starting to get loud ovations. People are starting to cheer for this guy once again, maybe once he builds himself up. I've heard that there's talk of him going after the title at Payback in a 3-way against Seth Rollins and Randy Orton, basically moving into that #1 spot after Extreme Rules, and see how the crowds react to them. I don't think it's time for Roman Reigns to win the title just yet, even if after that would be the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I'm not sure if they're going to be putting the title up on the line in a ladder match as they did the year before. That sort of fit the time that was going on because of the title strip of Daniel Bryan. It just made sense to put the belt on the ladder and have everybody climb up there to get it. I'm not sure if they'll be doing a one-on-one championship match and then have guys in a traditional Money in the Bank match to go along with it. But if it is a one-on-one match, even if Roman Reigns was to get the shot then, I definitely think you hold off until Brock Lesnar gets his title shot. Maybe you do a 3-way at SummerSlam. Maybe you do Seth versus Brock one-on-one, but then you have Roman in a big style matchup there. The only problem is you don't have a lot of main event guys. It's the one reason why WWE keeps Kane. They keep Big Show around, even though Big Show's in this match and it's a match that not that many people really care about. If Big Show and Kane did retire the way that people sort of chant out to them, please retire, please retire. I'm not sure who quite would be in this match, but Roman Reigns definitely would not have the star appeal to go along with it, and people definitely would be throwing out the things of Roman Reigns is getting buried, Roman Reigns is in this match that definitely not even WWE cares about, and people would be, saying that he is basically the Scott Steiner of 2000 and, oh shoot, my mind is following me now, maybe 2003, maybe 2002, when he made his return. He fought at the WWE Championship match, or the World Heavyweight Championship match, I apologize, going up against Triple H in the main event at the Royal Rumble and the February pay-per-view, and then WrestleMania came around and he was nowhere to be seen. Roman Reigns is going to be a big, bright star for the WWE. It's just, it's going to be soon, too. It's just not going to be today. Definitely, I see Roman Reigns winning this match against the Big Show. It's a last man standing match. Definitely, they're going to be having some sort of contraption built up that's going to be able to fall down on the Big Show. You can think of Chris Jericho and Kane having their last man standing match where he threw him into all the barrels and the barrels fell down on him. And even though the bell had rung and they were playing Jericho's music, you saw Kane's hand reach through the barrels to reach to the top. Last year, I believe it was the last man standing match between John Cena and Bray Wyatt, where Bray Wyatt had the box follow him and he couldn't get out of the box. Something like that's going to go down, but Roman's definitely getting the win in this match. Definitely. Nothing else I can see coming out of this. Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus are going to get it on at WWE Extreme Rules 2015, and this time it's going to be a kiss my ass match. Sheamus likes to say kiss my arse, but it's not PG around here. It doesn't come off the tongue that easy. Kiss my ass. That's what it's all about. Here in 2015, I never thought I'd be able to say this as a match stipulation. To me, it's sort of just crazy. It doesn't really... I know that there's pride involved, and I know that nobody wants to kiss anybody else's ass, but to me, it's kind of a stupid stipulation to come along here. Sheamus came in like a ball of fire at the Raw after WrestleMania, making his long, drawn-out return. We saw a lot of highlight videos about Sheamus coming back and Sheamus returning soon. Dolph Ziggler is a guy that seemed like he was going to be promised the world 1,000 times by now. You can go back and think what everybody thought that Survivor Series meant, but Dolph Ziggler getting the win for the Team Cena versus Team Authority. Somebody had to be in there to pin Seth Rollins when Sting came down there, but in the back of my mind, I was thinking it was all about Sting and Triple H, but I really wanted something to come out of it for Ziggler. Ziggler ended up getting his IC title back at TLC, and everybody sort of thought that Ziggler was going to be this guy to get the Intercontinental Championship, back on the rails and start pushing it down the train, sort of like what Cena and Daniel Bryan are doing for the IC and United States Championships right now, with these sort of open challenges. Anybody can come out of the back and get it on. And now here we are, just a month after WrestleMania, and Dolph Ziggler is involved in a Kiss My Ass match. 0% chance that Dolph Ziggler is going to be able to win this match. This match, I don't even see of any way of Ziggler winning this and Sheamus paying out on the stipulation. And for the reason, Sheamus is the guy who came up with the stipulation. I don't think there's any way in the world he's going to be able to lose this match. And it almost seems like this is almost a stipulation that he would have came up with 2 years ago when they were trying to portray Sheamus as the guy who was going to take over for John Cena and be that ultimate fun-loving babyface guy that just loves to get in there, loves to wrestle, loves to fight, can fight a big guy, can fight a small guy. He can sort of adapt to any kind of thing, and the only way that he's happy is if he pulls off and gets a win at the end of the day. That's the Sheamus guy that I thought was going to be seeing here. But honestly, I don't know what to think about Sheamus. I think that Sheamus has a really, really good look. I don't really like the beat-it up facial hair, but I really do like the mohawk. It shows you I'm not the guy that you knew last year. I'm a different guy. I've got a change of demeanor. I saw that I was never going to be the face of the company. I saw that, they weren't going to be handing me championship title shots. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get them myself. And if you don't like it, I'm going to kick you in the face. This match is going to go down. Sheamus is going to, probably beat the living hell out of Dolph Ziggler. We're going to see Dolph Ziggler sell like we've never seen him before. Ziggler's probably going to get scraped off of the mat by a spatula at the end of this. I can see him just getting waylaid out, and basically Sheamus having to pick Ziggler up and make him kiss his own ass in there, because I don't really see Sheamus beating Ziggler and Ziggler crawling over to kiss his ass and, sort of party his way out of there, doing it the best way he can do it. How he does it and how he can show his face on Monday Night Raw, I'm not sure. But there'll probably be a goofy skit about him going to the dentist and trying to get his thing cleaned, much like how Isaac Yankem came into the WWE, aka the guy we know as of Kane, where basically Lawler lost the Kiss My Foot match to Bret Hart, and then Bret Hart made Jerry Lawler kiss his foot, and then Jerry the King Lawler couldn't get the taste of Bret Hart's boot out of his mouth, so that's when he started going to the dentist, and that's when he found Isaac Yankem, and he brought Isaac Yankem into the WWF to beat up Bret Hart because he couldn't do it. So I don't know what we do from this, but there's more than likely going to be some bad vignettes on Monday Night Raw about Dolph Ziggler trying to get the taste of Sheamus's ass out of his mouth. Hashtag Give Divas a Chance time. Nikki Bella comes in as your Divas champion, going up against Naomi at WWE Extreme Rules 2015. Lots of backstory to get through on this one. Lots of stuff to work out. Basically, this match was originally supposed to be Nikki Bella versus Paige. There was a number one contenders match on Monday Night Raw, where Paige and Naomi did battle as the last two members inside of the ring, before finally Naomi was eliminated from the match. There in her own hometown, Paige did her own sort of victory celebration with a promo inside of the ring, where she talked about, everything that she's been able to accomplish in this last year. And Naomi, she got really upset with it. Basically, the night after WrestleMania, there was a six diva tag, and in that match was Paige and AJ Lee, Nikki and Brie Bella, and basically Naomi was the one who was able to get the rear view on Nikki Bella and pin her 1, 2, 3 right there in the center of the ring. From there, they went down the road and they went to SmackDown, where Naomi was able to pick up another big win against Natalya, beating two of the biggest names in the Divas division, both in the same week, and then having to travel overseas to go to England to do Monday Night Raw, only to see her title aspirations go out the window. If you remember back to last year, WrestleMania 30 on the road to WrestleMania, Naomi was picking up a lot of wins. She had a lot of steam in the Divas division. There were lots of rumors out there that were backed up by Total Divas, basically showing that Naomi had big plans booked for her, that she was going to win the Divas Championship from AJ. She was going to be the girl to finally beat the streak and take the Divas Championship, only to have Oksana in a worthless match on Monday Night Raw, out of the middle of nowhere, drop a big knee drop right into her eye, breaking her orbital bone, and putting her out of action. Naomi was able to work hard and get back into the WWE and be back on television for WrestleMania 30, only to have the match changed, all directions pushed in a different way, and WrestleMania 30 ended up being a Vicky Guerrero Divas Invitational match to have all the Divas on the roster go up against AJ Lee and Tamina, because they were looking to take the title off of AJ. AJ was able to overcome the odds and win that match, only to show up to Monday Night Raw and have Paige show up out of the middle of nowhere, making her debut from NXT, beating Nikki Bella. I'm looking at Nikki Bella right now, beating Paige to take the Divas. Paige beat AJ Lee to take the Divas Championship and become the new champion. Naomi finally took enough. She's been in the back seat. She's been working really hard to become a really good wrestler for WWE, and now here she has her dream just taken away from her, and she finally snapped. This is the first time we've ever seen a heel side of Naomi. She jumped into the ring, she attacked Paige, she threw her out of the ring, she threw her into the dasher boards, and she just beat the crap out of her. From there, the match was announced that it was still going to happen, Nikki Bella versus Paige, only to have WWE.com put a story up basically saying that due to the vicious attack of Naomi on Paige, Paige was going to be put out of action indefinitely, not knowing when she was going to be able to return, and Naomi was going to be taking her place as the runner-up in the #1 Divas Invitational Battle Royal that happened on Monday Night Raw in England. So Naomi, in the long run, ends up getting what she wants, going up against Nikki Bella. Nikki has been a great champion for WWE. You can say about Nikki as well as Brie that they both, since their return, have really put in the work and really became 100% better wrestlers than they once were before they left. I remember when they left WWE and they started, doing, various autograph and indie shows. They said that they were going to work hard to become better wrestlers and be able to come back and be better. And I just laughed it off. Like, these girls are going to leave WWE and we're never going to be seen again. And then WWE, was calling them up, saying basically that there was an offer on the table for a reality show that they wanted to be built around them, that being Total Divas, and they actually came back, and their match ended up being scrapped from WrestleMania 29, which ended up being one of the big storylines of the show, and now here we are 2 years later, and Nikki Bella really does deserve to be the Divas Champion. She is one of the best wrestlers. She is really good at getting heat on herself, and she's a damn good-looking chick, so she deserves a spot she's in. There's a part of me that wants the Divas Championship to stay with Nikki, but there's a part of me that also believes that maybe the Bellas have done everything that they've been able to do, and Naomi taking the Divas Championship would actually bring up a pretty fresh feud next month at Payback. When Paige is able to return, we could see Paige go one-on-one against Naomi going after the Divas Championship. Of course, Naomi became #1 contender because she was the runner-up in the Divas Championship Battle Royal. Paige, the actual winner, could show up and say, hey, I won this match. I was the #1 contender. I never ended up getting my match. Now I want my match. So we'll see what comes from this. Lots of Divas action to come, but Naomi is my pick to win the big one, her first Divas Championship. All right, the next match coming up for WWE Extreme Rules 2015 is sort of a sad one because we don't even really know if this match is going to happen. Of course, this match is going to be the Intercontinental Championship match. Daniel Bryan going up against Bad News Barrett. Daniel Bryan is sort of injured as of right now. No word on if this match is going to be happening. Monday Night Raw, when this match was put up on the screen as a match that was booked to happen in Extreme Rules, they said everything in the world about Daniel Bryan being injured without talking about him being injured. Just saying that this match was card subject to change, pretty much. It might happen. It might not happen. So we're going to tell you about it, and if not, then we'll try and figure out something to put on. Daniel Bryan, he's had his long string of injuries, and to see Daniel Bryan get injured again is sort of really sad. He had the neck injury last year. We would really hope that it doesn't have to do with the neck injury, something that's going to, affect the rest of his life, not only the rest of his wrestling career. You think about Edge. I mean, Edge had to retire from wrestling because basically doctors told Edge that his neck was way too bad, and if he took one bad bump inside of the wrestling ring, basically he could be living his life as a guy in a wheelchair for the rest of his life because he just would go paralyzed. It's just how bad his neck was. Daniel Bryan was able to get his neck fixed without going through surgery. I believe that he met a man, I can't remember if it was in Denver or Salt Lake City, but one of those sort of western towns out in the middle of nowhere, and he was able to get himself fixed without going through the power of surgery. And he got himself back and able to wrestle. I remember making videos last year talking about, will Daniel Bryan ever wrestle again? Is the rest of his life with him and Brie worth risking it to get back into the ring and try to wrestle again? I know that there's a lot of money to be made in wrestling, but it's not what really makes the whole world go round. You can definitely see from watching shows like the Wrestling Road Diaries with Colt Cabana and Daniel Bryan before they were stars, and seeing what Daniel Bryan's life was like on the indies, that there's more to life for him than just wrestling. Wrestling is a big part of his life. He's really good at what he does. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. But I just don't see him as a guy that when the chips are all on the line, he's going to go out there and have one more match just because he's got to pay the light bill at the end of the month. Bryan hasn't been on TV in the last couple of weeks. They've kept him off television. There's been fingers pointed, basically saying that Daniel Bryan suffered a concussion in the SmackDown match against Sheamus, which is a little bit weird because WWE normally steps in when you have a concussion and says you can't pass an impact test. You're not going to be able to get into the ring. But Daniel Bryan, I guess he had a concussion, and he wrestled on SmackDown and Raw for a whole week before getting pulled. And plus, I thought that when you have a concussion, you're not really supposed to get onto an airplane because the pressure that builds up inside of the airplane with the oxygen and everything that happens inside of the plane will really mess you up. You definitely don't want to travel when you have a leg clot, something that almost killed Ric Flair just a matter of a year or two ago when he was on a plane flying back from Japan. If Bryan's hurt and he's not able to wrestle, it's not the end of my world. The Daniel Bryan versus Wade Barrett match that barely has any build-up. They weren't able to even build up a stipulation for this match because I don't think they wanted Wade Barrett to be going on television, putting a stipulation on this match, making people have expectations about this match is going to happen when, they're definitely going to go out and really try to protect Daniel Bryan and see what they can get out of this guy. The writing out as of right now is out there on the wall. Him having the Intercontinental Championship was mainly supposed to be more about building the belt up more than it was about building him up. Daniel Bryan is the guy that the fans like to see wrestle, and him being out there is a plus. But they're thinking about building the reputation of the Intercontinental Championship back up to what it once was. Bryan winning the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 31 at the ladder match, taking Wade Barrett's belt. Wade Barrett, a 5-time Intercontinental Champion. If they do something like when Shawn lost his smile or Shawn wasn't able to wrestle and basically they have to do where Shawn passes the belt to Dean Douglas, Wade Barrett would become a 6-time Intercontinental Champion. Maybe they could do something like they did when Shawn had to give the belt up to Dean, have Razor fill in for him and just beat him. Just so you got your Intercontinental Championship, you held it for 15 minutes, but you lost it. haha, maybe you could add in Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose, since their feud is mostly built around the Intercontinental Championship, making it a three-way. But then again, Daniel Bryan doesn't have to be stripped of the championship right away just because he's injured. You go back and think about last year at WrestleMania. He was able to win the championship at the end, and then he beat Kane at Extreme Rules. Then he was supposed to have the Buried Alive match at Payback, which ended up, he wasn't able to wrestle because of his injury, and it took all the way until Money in the Bank before they were able to crown another champion, because they wanted to keep that championship on Bryan because of the plans of Bryan versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Was what the plan was supposed to be. But we'll have to see if this match is going to be going down. Bad News Barrett is one of the biggest, fiercest guys in the WWE. He's going to be able to win this match basically by using the big forearms, the big boots. Of course, you got to watch out for that bull hammer. Anytime if this match goes down, he could become the six-time Intercontinental Champion. But you can't take Daniel Bryan lightly. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's got the yes movement behind him. He locks that yes lockdown, and he can get a win. If this match goes down, wouldn't be surprised if they take the belt off of Bryan and put it on Barrett, just so that maybe they can sit Bryan down for a little bit, just to try and see really what is wrong with him and get inside of his head and try and really figure it out before they really risk the rest of his life. And that way the Intercontinental Championship really could just move on. But if Bryan's good, Bryan's healthy and really thinks he could do it, I want him to hold that title because I like seeing Bryan wrestle these matches on SmackDown. Do I watch SmackDown? No. But do I go out of my way to watch these Bryan matches when he has these sort of, open challenge matches, bringing somebody at the back? Yes, because it's one of the most important things of Monday Night Raw to me when John Cena is doing it with the United States Championship. It's a good move by WWE, trying to make these belts mean something. Oh, yeah. There we go. John Cena going up against Russian star Rusev in the Russian chain match for the United States Championship. Rusev came into WrestleMania 31 undefeated. He came into WrestleMania 31 as United States Champion. He left without either one of those. John Cena, the champ, is here. Boom! Dun 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 dun! At Wwe Extreme Rules, we're going to see the first ever WWE's televised Russian chain match. The Russian chain match goes all the way back in the day to the Koloffs going up against San Martino. The Road Warriors were involved in a whole bunch of chain matches. You can go back and watch Greg the Hammer Valentine versus Roddy Piper at the first ever Starrcade. That was more of a dog collar match than more than anything else. But basically, in this match, both of the superstars are going to be sort of chained together at the wrist, where they're going to have to sort of drag their opponents around the ring, beat them down, and be able to touch all four ring turnbuckles in succession to be able to be named the winner. I know that's kind of a weak stipulation. Honestly, in my mind, you just sort of beat the guy with the chain to the point of where you're able to pin him, or maybe even get a submission out of him. We saw Rusev beat down John Cena in the back and then sort of strap in the accolade by wrapping the chain around John Cena's face, making his nose go up like Miss Piggy pretty much. But these two guys are going to beat the hell out of each other. Everybody knows that there is no love lost between John Cena and Rusev. When this first feud first got started, basically John Cena came into this and took the route of he was the grizzled old vet and that he'd seen guys come and go like Rusev and no one was going to be able to beat him. And then at Fastlane, Rusev shocked the world. It was by tomfoolery, I guess you can say, of Lana getting into the ring. Basically the referee was all tied up. Rusev was able to kick John Cena right in the nards and then super kick him right upside the head. But when all the chips were all down at the end of the night, John Cena lost the match and Rusev won. Then WrestleMania 31 came, and I know there was a lot of miscommunication between Lana, who was trying to break John Cena's hold, trying to get the ref's attention by throwing your shoes into the ring, and then finally throwing your feather boa into the ring, which the referee took as like the white handkerchief, saying that Rusev could not go on anymore, and her manager was, basically stepping in to stop the match. Rusev took, big I guess you can say he didn't agree with that at all. He did not tap out. He did not want to show any weakness to John Cena. So him and Lana started having words. But it looks like Lana and Rusev are back finally on the same page. It was Lana coming out to direct a promo to John Cena, basically saying that this was going to be a Russian chain match, setting up Rusev to attack John Cena from behind, coming in and hitting him and knocking him out with the chain for him to stand strong as the Russian flag draped behind him. When it comes to chains, basically John Cena is no strangers to the chain gang. John Cena was once the leader of the chain gang back in the days when he was the United States champion. This is what it's like, all coming around full circle for you. I don't know what the pop would be like if John Cena came out to basic Thugonomics. I know that he came out to it, I can't remember if it was WrestleMania 24, maybe WrestleMania 25. John Cena's already, basically, he's wearing the Champ is Here shirt now with the United States Championship, putting at the belt. But when Cena came out wearing the throwback t-shirt, that sort of teal thing, I know they just re-released it in white, so maybe he'll go back to wearing that one sooner than later. But I really thought that we were going to maybe hear that song once or twice Monday Night Raw or a pay-per-view to sort of have that sort of thing that gets trapped into your mind. John Cena, when he was coming up, was one of the hottest things in wrestling. Vince was able to see it, and that's why he's the top dog in the world right now. John Cena going on to Monday Night Raw, wrestling in the United States Championship Open Challenge matches. We've seen him fight Dean Ambrose. We've seen him fight Stardust. We've seen him fight Kane. All of these matches were fun. All of these matches were good. And I want to keep seeing more of this. John Cena is the United States champion. Does it mean to me that belt means more? It sort of does. But I do know that when somebody finally sneaks up and does beat John Cena, whether if it's Rusev, whether if it's Sting, whether if it's Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn, like the WWE.com article put up, the belt's not going to mean what it was before. Even if one of those NXT guys comes up and takes that belt, more than likely Vince is going to forget all about that championship because the guy holding it is not John Cena, the guy who sells the most t-shirts or the guy that goes on to the most television shows and gets booked to do the most appearances around the world. It's just sort of, we'll just have this guy lose this match on Raw. Well, we'll just let this guy lose this match on SmackDown. He's still the champion, so he's not really losing anything. He's just losing a match. He's just helping put some guy over, and we all know that's not really the way this works. I'm hoping that this match is going to be the blow-off for the feud. I'm hoping that John Cena is able to pull out the victory. Rusev is able to go his own way, and then maybe we can see a new number one contender for a pay-per-view for payback for John Cena. At the end of the world, if Rusev gets his title back, he's going to look hot going into his next direction, wherever John Cena goes. But we've already heard rumors that the payback main event is going to be a three-way. Randy Orton going up against Seth Rollins, going up against Roman Reigns. So there's a lot of main event guys getting tied up. I know that Kane's out there. I know Big Show's out there. But do you really want to see Kane or Big Show fight against John Cena? No, not me. So they'll have to figure something out. But I'm picking John Cena to get the win in this match. And I hope you guys are too. Main event time. I know that WWE Extreme Rules 2015 is built all around stipulations. Every match has to have a stipulation. That way it keeps you more interested, and directly it becomes a pay-per-view that you have to order. But the steel cage match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship with Kane as the gatekeeper with the RKO band is way too long for the title of a match. I know that two of the stipulations were able to be added by the contestants inside of the match on Monday Night Raw a few weeks ago. Both contestants were able to add a stipulation onto the match, and Seth Rollins stepped up to the plate and said, this is easy. He's going to ban the RKO because the RKO is Randy Orton's greatest weapon. I asked it in a video where I talked about the match, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, asking for any way that Randy Orton has won a match in his career, not winning the RKO. I apologize. not using the RKO and was unable to find an answer. I can't remember of Randy hitting any other move in order to grab a pin. The RKO is one of the most exciting moves in all of wrestling. You can watch a Monday Night Raw from Monday. Randy Orton taking out Heath Slater. Randy Orton taking out The Miz. Randy Orton finally hitting the RKO on Seth Rollins. Was really, really must-watch TV. It was the biggest things that happened with Monday Night Raw. I said that, honestly, Randy Orton hitting the RKO on Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania when he put him through the announce table, honestly, to me, killed a little bit of that match. But this match is a WrestleMania rematch. This match does have a little bit more on the line. Seth Rollins, of course, at WrestleMania 31, cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase, just hours after losing to Randy Orton, where Seth Rollins looked like he was going for the curb stomp, and at the time he was hitting the curb stomp, Randy raised out of his position, shooting Seth Rollins up into the air, only for him to fall down into an RKO. Definitely one of the most impressive RKOs we've seen from Randy. We've seen him, turn a lot of people's finishers. We've seen him hit Evan Bourne, flying off the top rope, being able to jump up and hit that into an RKO. Lots of memorable ones, but that's a very big one. And because it happened on the WrestleMania stage, it's going to be one that we remember for a long time. Lots of times we've seen guys cash in the championship and lose the match before cashing in, sort of making the guy that they had a feud with at that time the new number one contender, to sort of add something to that feud as well. Brock Lesnar was going to be leaving. He had to go sit in the woods and hunt bears and stuff, whatever Brock Lesnar does. Sit around with Sable and make more kids, I guess. But Roman Reigns, I guess, pretty much got sent back down to developmental, having a match against the Big Show, and what is that, Last Man Standing, a match that nobody really cares about. Randy finally getting that WrestleMania WWE Championship rematch that he's been looking for ever since WrestleMania 30, since losing to Daniel Bryan. He's in the main event again. That's definitely a spot that Randy Orton wants to be in. To me, Randy's always just sort of been a little bit boring, but the guy is a fan favorite. He sells lots of t-shirts. There's always lots of fans yelling and screaming and loving this guy. He's just not for me. That's why they make 1,000 different wrestlers, because not everybody's going to like everybody that's out there. When they were picking stipulations, Randy Orton said that he wanted this match to be a cage match, a move that I was honestly very against, because what Randy is trying to do is take J&J Security out of the match. J&J Security has been involved in all of Seth Rollins' matches since they've been hired to be bodyguards of Seth Rollins. They're always jumping into the ring and having a steel cage in between. He's going to be able to keep them out of the action. Honestly, in my mind, if you want to keep guys out, you got to go Hell in the Cell. With that top on there, people aren't going to be able to climb over the top and get in. And I know that there have been Hell in the Cell matches where people have found a way to get in, whether it's Kane ripping the door off, or maybe Mick Foley throwing himself through the chain link of the actual Hell in the Cell. But definitely the Hell in the Cell has a better chance of keeping somebody out of it rather than anything else. But these guys are going to get in there, and no doubt in my mind they're going to be able to go. Hopefully it doesn't turn out like the last time Rollins was involved in a steel cage, when he tried to enter at the last moment and was almost impaled by a large stake on live television. That wasn't good. Randy Orton, a 12-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He knows his way around the ring. He knows the way around Seth Rollins. He's been able to beat this guy once before, but will he be able to do it on the main stage? Definitely with the Authority being able to be ringside, as Kane is now the guardian of the gate. Kane and Seth Rollins have not been seeing eye to eye. Hell, Kane and Big Show have not even been able to be seeing eye to eye. Win, lose, or draw, you got to be thinking that with the Roman Reigns versus Big Show match, he might not be able to answer the 10 count, but I'm sure that the Authority is going to be in the back. They'll be waving some smelling salts under the Big Show's nose, making sure he's able to get up and out to the ring. Hell, the Authority might even be bringing in other people to be a part of this match, seeing how they want to keep this title on Seth Rollins so bad. And I'm thinking that they're going to be doing it. Honestly, Seth Rollins is my pick. It is going to be a very must-see match for the one reason of how Seth Rollins is going to be able to beat Randy Orton? Do you really want to, screw Randy Orton over, and just sort of have him be that babyface is good, but not able to get it done? It seems like they've got so many of those baby faces under the roster. Is that going to make people want to stay involved with this storyline and see if they have a rematch at Payback down the road? Some talks about maybe doing this as a 3-way, adding Roman Reigns, having him get back into the championship picture after WrestleMania 31. Lots of questions to be answered. That's why we're going to be watching this whole deal. And honestly, to me, like I said at the beginning, this pay-per-view looks like it's going to have some good matches. This pay-per-view has definitely some matches that I just really don't care about. I'm hoping the build to Payback is going to be better than the build to Extreme Rules, but I'm definitely very thankful that this is going to be on the WWE Network for only $10. I know that I'm going to get my money's worth for this alone. I was watching, Rockin' Wrestling, one of the old 80s cartoons the other day, plus I'm sure that I'll watch an old Extreme Rules pay-per-view in the upcoming days before Extreme Rules. WWE Network. Best $10 that I spend monthly. Thank you very much, WWE. Very good pay-per-view coming up. I'm going to be pumped.